So the season is like not quite midwinter, but the beginning of winter. Um, it's not uh it's not super cold in this area, but if you go north into the mountains, it gets quite a bit colder because the elevation rises so aggressively. Um, but again, like kind of our uh climate touch point is like the Andes in Peru. So there'll be like areas that are very cold, very warm, but at least in winter, uh, the anthropoi have selected, areas that are reasonably temperate for growing crops and so on. Um, so I'll probably share a picture of the map at some point for like the whole region. But basically, I spent some time with it. There is there's like a mountain that's part of this vast range, and the three villages of the anthropoi are kind of arranged around it. So you all are in Winding Ways, which is like the cultural and religious center. Four Fields is another community of mainly farming community to the northwest, and then to the southwest, on a cliff overlooking the sea, is Sea Stop, which which used to be called something else, but in the past decade it's been called Sea Stop because there was a big battle with the Sea People where they were stopped. So it's got this
Oh,
kind of
okay.
honorary name. What was the name of the second one? Four Fields, and I mean, in terms of this is all maybe too high level, but in terms of movement, you go from like Four Fields to Winding Ways to Sea Stop. You don't go all the way around because the River of Death runs to the west, and that's kind of forbidden or ground. And the anthropoi are all about like pretty carefully defined paths and all that good stuff, as you might imagine. So, um, if it sounds good to you all, I was thinking we could start with like one of your outings into the woods, um, which I
Yeah.
think you had said was kind of part of your daily routine. And on reflection, you were mentioning that there's a group of you. I think, given the size of the community, there's probably just like one other kid with you. So
Great.
three of
Okay,
you are
cool.
the ones going out. Yeah. Um, so when you can once you get down into the woods away from the terrace farms, you lose sight of the village pretty quickly. Um, you don't have to sneak out really. No one's gonna stop you. You'll probably be noticed, and people like know that you're kids who like leave, and aren't as bound by the perimeter as the other kids, but no one's gonna stop you. And yeah, I mean, once you get away from the village, it is this just like really beautiful wilderness. Really abrupt elevation changes. You saw some of those photos from like Greece and the Andes. So just like really kind of astonishing landscape. Um, it's winter, so if you climb up too high, you'll hit the snow line pretty quickly, and you'll notice it getting like real cold if you start climbing up. But a lot of the forest is like pine and evergreen, so it's not like you're walking through barren landscape. The kid who is so first off, well, I'll tell you, the kid who's with you is named Diocles, Diokles. He's kind of a misfit. So he is not. He speaks pretty slowly. Um, has some trouble communicating. And hasn't really shown a lot of aptitude. So it's not like he's in high demand in the same way the both of you are in terms of
Mm.
your kind of demonstrated aptitudes and talents. Um, So he kind of likes to go out into the woods. He fishes and just kind of likes being alone. So he comes out with you. And yeah, I mean you're all wearing these kind of one piece kind of baggy unisexual tunics. You all have your head shaven, right? Very closely shaven. Um, but do you both want to maybe talk a little bit about how your characters appear and what they're carrying out into the woods with them? And you might look at your skills too and see what implements you would bring along.
Yeah, I mean, I know I have this mentor for the for shamanic kind of powers or interests that Eusebius has. So I'm wondering like what you're imagining that looks like. Like, am I bringing special kind of plants, that I've tried to gather? Am I bringing like bones that I've found? I imagine it's a really low tech society, so I imagine that like the things that we're doing magical stuff with are probably pretty low tech. Um,
Yeah.
does that yeah? Does that make sense? Sorry, my roommate is like screaming on a fucking phone call. It's so annoying.
Oh
So
no, I can't even
I'm
hear
gonna
you.
be.
No worries.
I'm just gonna be like a little bit distracted, but I'm trying to
No worries.
concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um. So spirit magic, to cast it, you have to have a focus, which is
Right.
some kind of like carving. So
Mm,
you probably have a focus for each of your spirit magic
mm.
spells, um, which can be kind of up to you. Some people will like carve it onto their weapons. So like if you have a blade sharpening spell, you carve it onto the handle of your sword, so you can like look at it and use it to focus the magic. But yeah, I think you're right on. You might have some plants, although probably nothing super potent because it's not
Right.
like you've been getting like alchemy training necessarily. But yeah, probably some herbs that you've been trained to spot by this person, and then also an implement or two that has a focus on it for each of your
Okay.
spells. So yeah, what are you
Yeah. So
thinking
I
there?
I think I've just learned detect spirit, and so I've just made. I've been working on this focus. So I think it's something really crude,
Hmm.
like made of stone and some like fur and some bones, and
Cool.
that's probably what I have made. And yeah, some like pitiful plants that I've picked, trying to find something that's satisfactory and stuff like that. And then I think I imagine that I am carrying a spear because we're gonna go out in the woods alone. So I think I would imagine that we are bringing. I think this is a spear that's like, it's not like a spear that you'd use in war or something. It's like a spear that you'd use for hunting. I imagine is what is available. So
Oh
it's
yes.
probably made of wood. Like there might be a stone tip, but I think it could just be made of wood
Yeah.
or like metal tip. I don't know how available metal is to us for stuff like
It's
this.
probably stone because the
Right.
metal is kind of sacred, like it's rationed
Okay.
pretty carefully.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is like something that either Eusebius made or someone he knows made, and I think the focus is kind of like tied to the spear,
Nice.
like with like a leather,
Hmm.
some leather,
So it's
and
like
then other than
appropriate
that,
to like hanging on.
exactly, and the bones kind of like jingle and stuff on it. It's yeah, and then I think other than that, probably just some food to that he kind of like maybe he like skips meals sometimes and puts the food away to bring when he's gonna
Cool.
go in the woods. So yeah,
Nice.
so like stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. How about Ajax?
Mm.
What's he bringing along?
So, all right, I think I've got, I'm the map maker, right? I think I've got this like nifty belt
Hmm.
that has the like little map holsters for like
Oh,
curled up
cool.
little maps. So I've got, a couple. It doesn't
Yeah.
go all the way around yet. I'm still learning, but I've got a handful of little map holsters. Um, I mean, I've got detect silver spell, so
Yeah.
in theory I have a focus too, right?
Mhm.
For that, I think it's probably just like a really small, like you're saying, like metal's hard to come by, so like a really small, like dime-sized sort of uh piece of metal or something that I've really sort of like chiseled into.
Cool. Well,
Um,
and we know that you have some, relationship with the metallurgist too, so
right.
probably someone helped you with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Maybe my belt has a new little pouch or something where I keep my little focus into.
Nice.
Um, what else am I good at? Hiding shit, blinding shit. So I think maybe I've got like a kind of a nice like kind of poncho, like leather thing, something
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of like multi-purpose, but
Nice.
I can use it as a comment or could use it as like shelter or
Hmm.
something
Oh, cool.
if
Yeah.
needed. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I love that.
Packing pretty light. I don't have weapons or anything, right? Like if I hadn't
Um,
decided that already.
you could probably have a staff or a spear, something very rudimentary.
Yeah, I got like a walking stick,
Cool.
uh, because we're climbing and stuff. Um, yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
And yeah, if we get into a situation where it's required, that leather will probably give you a bit of armor protection too. Um, because especially given that you've kind of described it as multi-purpose, it's probably pretty tough. It's been treated with like wax and stuff to keep it waterproof. Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it special too.
Yeah. Nice.
Not everyone's got leather like this.
Yeah. Um, I'll tell you, that was probably a gift from Eustorgius, who is your kind of adopted parent, and
Mm.
Eusebius's, biological father. Uh, yeah, Eustorgios. Nice.
So,
Hmm. And Diocles is, I think he's just bringing some hooks, some line, uh, and maybe like Eusebius, some cheese and bread, to eat while they're fishing. But he's just gonna go to like his favorite fishing hole, and sit there all day until you come to get him. Uh, so I know that you said that you kind of go to a spot and then split up and then come back together to go back to town.
Mm.
So we'll just say, it's a point where like this big rock kind of breaks up through the mountain, so it's visible, from a ways away, even if you're up or down slope. And you always this has kind of been your spot for the last couple of years. Um, so yeah, I mean, you get there, probably establish, when you're coming back. Um, in Earth time, it's probably like 2 in the afternoon. So, you've got 4 or 5 hours before nightfall. And you can make it back, if you get back here by nightfall, you can all make it back together. But, ideally, you leave a little bit of daylight. Um, and yeah, I mean, your friend is just, you know, basically practically running off, toward his stream to fish. And what are you both doing on this outing? And I think we already probably know for Eusebius because your trainer, your mentor is in the area.
Yeah, Eusebius is making a beeline for that. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, maybe I've got a map to that I wanna work on that's gonna take me out like past where Diocles is going, so I'm gonna go with him to his fishing spot for
Cool.
starters and then
Okay.
sort of venture beyond.
Nice. Okay, so that will, I think, get us into motion. Um, so let's start with Ajax. So you are working on this map. What do you imagine this looks like?
Um, what does it look like? I guess like who's I have a relationship with someone around maps. Is there someone I'm learning from?
Yeah, the
Okay.
let's see. So you were actually learning from the High Priest of Annex. Maps and diagrams are big for their sacred ways. So his name is Nikon, Nikon. Uh, and he's kind of the head priest of the labyrinth. He's one of the most prominent men in winding ways, and he has taken kind of a special time with you to teach you this map making, which not everyone has a penchant for, and yeah, and he's generally been very like pretty close to you. Yeah.
Hey, um, tell me if I'm like overstepping in the imagining here, but I'm imagining like there probably he's shown me some like really beautiful maps of like the region, that I'm
Yeah.
sort of like learning from. And I wonder if they're um I don't know, it's like an edge of one or like a spot on one that looks incomplete and I want to like impress him. I want to bring back
Yeah.
like a little more detail to some region that looks like undertreated in
Nice.
the sort of ornamental maps wherever he's teaching me. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's somewhere along the river or wherever
Hmm.
Diocles is fishing. But yeah, I'm kind of pushing a boundary.
Oh, I
Looking,
love it.
yeah.
And this is a little bit unusual because they have kind of large scale maps of like the terrain, but in terms of detail,
Mm,
they pretty much focus on what's inside the outer wall, where the fields begin.
mm,
So they have some, but Annex isn't really about going beyond the boundary, so you have a lot of like blank space to move into. That's cool.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and make a map making roll?
Oh, yeah.
Skills are done on D100. You're trying to roll under it,
Fix some out.
and and this is a game where you're always rolling.
Sixes, some 12s. Just gonna see which I find the pair to first.
And feel free to dump them in too.
Oh, it's gonna be such a mess though. It'll
But
sound
it'll sound
great.
so nice. Is this coming
Aha!
through on the mic, Sam? The dice?
All right, I got a pair.
It kind of is. I'm getting little glimpses of
Okay.
joy.
It's a
Right.
glorious cascade on this
Yes.
end.
Okay, I'm doing a map making.
Hmm.
I've got 25%.
Which is very high.
That is very
Yeah.
high for a kid. So 22.
My God,
Oh
that's
my God!
awesome.
Wow.
Okay, so you get to put a check mark next to that skill,
We like
so you
that.
have a chance of learning from experience. And yeah, I mean you're doing great. Um, Trying to think, you're probably having to invent some like parts of a legend, right? Because
Hmm.
they don't have like much for forests or like wild streams, you know. So uh, yeah, I mean, I did like what you're doing here is pretty impressive, like you said, especially you know you're not an initiate. Prodigy. Exactly. um, yeah, that's awesome. And you know that's kind of whiling away your afternoon is drawing this milk.
Sounds delightful.
Let's hop over to Eusebius. So one other thing that I kind of realized is that you're probably just meeting with your mentor like once or twice a year, since you know they're part of this nomadic group. So
Right.
they're only here for certain seasons, and
Mm.
the winter, you know, is one of them because they come south closer to the sea when it gets really cold. So her name is Zeneis, Zeneais. You haven't seen her for a full year. You know, so sometimes
Wow.
she's here every 6 months. But you know, this time around she's been gone a while. And you know, you've probably been coming out multiple times to kind of look for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any idea like where you two met, you know? Or like is there a spot, you know, where you go to kind of rendezvous?
Well, it's got to be that I mean, I'm picturing that I go and, I mean, I think a lot of nomadic people have, you know, there are places that they return to, right? And there can be like buildings there. I don't know if this is how established. I don't know if they move from like, you know, little area that's got some infrastructure to little area that's got some infrastructure or
They're
not, or
they're
what.
really kind of brutal in that they don't like you don't know much, but you've gathered that they kind of just move
Right.
continually. Yeah.
So then I think I probably spend a lot of time looking for like smoke from fires in the distance and for like signs that they're near. And then I probably just barge into wherever I think that. I mean, yeah, I think I just barge into wherever I think she's going to be.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm probably like have seen signs that they're around. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a roll. Um, so when there's some kind of conflict, including magical conflict, that isn't covered in the rules, you go to something called the resistance table, which Avid and I know very well, and you compare your power or the relevant statistics to get a percentage. So for Eusebius, what's your power?
Let's see. 14.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a roll here. Okay. What is Ajax's power score?
13.
Okay. And then one more for your foot. Okay. Um. Yeah. So Sam, just given that I don't. Yeah, I don't think we need to roll. You know, she's. Uh. If she were like trying to stay quiet or hidden, right? It would be harder. But none of the anthropoi like come out here, and she kind of knows that you know you'll be looking for. So might take you a while, but you know you do like catch sight of some smoke coming up. Um, you know you might see some marks. You know that she's been walking around here, and yeah, you're able to reach her campsite, which is you know incredibly bare. Like small campfire, some very small portable implements. All of her stuff is like very culturally diverse. So, you know, she might have like a cooking pot from one, you know, village and then like a water cup from another, you know, a whole other like style. It's all pretty beat up. And she is uh, just wearing a leather skirt, so she's naked otherwise. She has like very long, very tangled black hair that has not been combed or cut, so it's like almost down to her feet. It's
Hmm.
really it's very striking. Um, and she is like 7 months pregnant. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and
Interesting.
yeah, is sitting by the fire, and when she sees you come up, her eyes kind of brighten, and she stands up and kind of goes over. She's slow, with since she is carrying a lot of extra weight around, so but she comes around the fire and kind of spreads her arms wide and says, "Oh, Eusebius,
Oh
welcome."
yeah. And Eusebius is like running to her to hug her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she says, how has the last year been? Um, you know, she's kind of casting back to remember, right? So she's like, you were learning spear, with one of the, you're learning how to use the spear. Um, have you encountered any spirits? Like she's just kind of asking, all of these, curious questions.
Yeah. I think, Eusebius is like he he's like he talks maybe a bit about stuff that's happened, maybe trying to, uses like his understanding of detecting spirits and stuff, but he's kind of like looking at his feet and he like is kicking some rocks and he's like it's just frustrating. It's taking so long because I should be around you all the time, but you know, uh, I just never get to see you.
Um, I think her face kind of darkens at that a little bit, and she gets a little bit more serious, and she says, why don't you sit down? Uh, um, she's making like some herbal tea over the fire, and pours you both a cup.
Yeah, when her face gets a little darker, I think you yeah, Eusebius um instead of sitting down, he brings out these herbs that he's spent time collecting to show
Um,
her them. Yeah.
she said, "Oh, very good. This one will go very well in the tea." Uh, she says, she might produce like a mortar and pestle right from her bag and say, could you crush it up and add it to the pot?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now that she's given him something to do with his hands, he's like sitting down and with like a big smile on his face, kind of not like looking at her because he doesn't want to see her serious expression and just yeah, mortar and pestle.
Uh, she says, I take it, from you not mentioning it that your father is still alive, still lives.
Yeah. Yeah, Eusebius says yeah, he is. And Eusebius has actually I think he probably has a pretty good relationship with his father. Like I think I said like he's not this total outcast. He doesn't hate the place he lives in.
Yeah.
um so I think he said yeah, I think actually he doesn't even realize like the significance of him being like yeah, he's doing well, and he like tells her a bit about I don't know something nice that's happened recently,
Yeah.
or yeah.
Nice. She says, Eustorgius was always a good man. She says, I had hoped. Well, I've got to, she starts and stops a couple of times, but she says, when I left you last year, knowing that you were almost of age, I'd hoped that when I came this year, um, I could take you with me this time uh, because I haven't told you this, but I'm your mother, and that gives me that gives me part of the claim over you. So uh, if things had been different, I'd hope to offer you a place with the hunt, to live among the Parthenoi with me. Um, and she's gonna go ahead and like give you a little bit more context, I think, and actually go ahead and make a listen roll
Okay.
to see what
Um.
you pick up.
Yeah. Let's see. So, okay, I got my base 20. So it can't go lower than the base, right? Because I have my
Right.
minus 5. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I got a nice 1 in 4 chance here.
Which is very high.
Yeah. Ah, I failed. I got a 32.
Okay. So she goes on. Is basically giving you some information about what's happening among the Parthenoi, right? That has made this impossible. But past the revelation that she's your mom, you don't hear much.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's struck by it. He's like stricken by it.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think actually at some point he's like, why couldn't you? Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I mean, this is I have to decide right now. Like, if you, I mean, this is I don't care about all. He's like, I don't care about all that bullshit or whatever would be the equivalent of bullshit. I don't care about all that bullshit. I you know I just don't understand why you have so much power in just your body. Um, how could you? I mean, you're going on and on about this stuff, but you know, how could you let go of something you love just for whatever that? Yeah, something like that. He says.
um she says, I wanted, the lives of the Parthenoi can be short. And if I didn't come back one day, I didn't want to give you grief. Um, but I also wanted to, uh, you know, basically, she says that telling you that that your family, right, is almost like extending a legal claim to you. And she says, I wanted to make sure that uh, that the life my people lead was something you could imagine yourself in. Uh, and it didn't seem fair until you were nearly of age.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, what is Eusebius gonna do here? Um.
But she says,
Yeah.
but none of that matters now because as I mentioned, this is in the part that you missed with the listener roll,
Yeah.
but she's here now. She's been kind of not exiled but left behind by the hunt, and really doesn't know what to do. She's basically alone here.
And she's pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, this is like a big deal. I think because it's hard to take care of yourself if you're 7 months pregnant. Like it's kind of you. Yeah, I imagine that it's difficult to stay alive in the woods
yeah,
if you're carrying around a child. Um. Yeah. So Eusebius says, you know, don't worry. I will do everything I can to keep you alive whatever I can do. Um, I just don't really know how much I can do. I'm really scared.
yeah. And, I think she picks up on that. Right? They're very she's very emotionally expressive, right? So she might even tear up at that, right? And again, she kind of throws her arms wide, and I think she says, you don't need to be afraid. You're a good child. I'm lucky to have you. But with the word child, she uses the word, daughter. Kind of,
Right,
kind of acknowledging, right? Because Parthenoi don't have a social role for sons, right? Uh,
right, right. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So Eusebius is like almost ready to angry cry, but he's not. He's like gotta hold that shit back. Um, and he says, are you hungry? Are you in pain?
She says, no, not right now. Let's just sit and talk a while. Um,
Okay.
she wants to kind of hear everything that you've been up to.
Yeah, so I think this is Eusebius will spill everything, that's been happening to him and kind of like enter that like some kind of daydream. So I actually think he's making everything sound way better than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just like totally going off into this world of like things have been so great, things have been so great just because this is so real and grim.
Right. I'm just gonna make a mark for her camp. Just put it on first in place. Um. Okay, so let's jump back to Ajax. You have spent, a very pleasant afternoon.
Ah,
Uh,
walking around the woods. Time well spent.
yes. And in this part of the woods, I've put some cool stuff. So go ahead and make a spot hidden item. Use me say
Only
you
15
sometimes just wander around. Yes.
shiny stuff. That's not even close. That's a big fail.
Okay. So you step on, a pile of leaves and plunge through it
Oh,
into this underground room. And go ahead and roll a d6 and let's apply the damage to your left leg.
oh,
Oh, Jesus.
oh!
Ooh,
6.
okay.
Ow. Okay. How does the
Let's
that's on this one, right?
hmm
Left leg.
Okay, so for let's see, lacking at the moment a specific number. We can calculate that later. Um, we'll just go ahead and yeah, that was probably enough to break your leg. So it's it's useless now. It's got 0 hit points. And you are reduced to to crawling unless you can find a crutch. So where you find you've landed on this kind of shiny metallic floor.
Mm.
The walls of this place are the same material. What you've fallen through looking up, we might recognize as a skylight. I don't. It might not mean much. Well, actually, no. They probably So this is a skylight. You've fallen through. You're lying. In a pile of leaves that fell with you. Um, and yeah, there's like a bunch of there are like some tables along the edges of this room. There is a big door set into one side with a big like wheel on it to seal it and unseal it. And there are just like kind of decayed implements and like random things around. And right now the only light is coming from the ceiling, so you can't see much.
Yeah.
Would it
Um,
would a door like that be like startling levels of
yeah,
Probably,
like
oh yeah,
technology?
architecture, yeah.
yeah.
Because that seems very okay. Yeah.
Um, how far from the fishing spot am I? Like, is shouting for help gonna do anything, or have I ventured out
Um,
of range?
uh, let's uh, let's make a power roll.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if the gods favor you. So multiply your power by 5, and then try to roll under it.
Okay, so that's 65.
So not bad.
Pretty good. Rolled a 99.
Oh.
So not happening.
Yep.
Screaming.
Oh man. Okay.
Nobody.
Yep. So your path took you away from the stream. You're pretty far away
Okay.
from anybody.
Ah, shit. What's the daylight doing? Is it what time is it?
Let's say like 4 or 5. You've got a
Okay.
couple of hours. Yeah.
Okay.
You weren't going back.
And
You
I just want to say, I think people who go off in the woods, like in this way, you would probably have some like dry kindling and stuff with you, right? I mean, like this is my assumption that you would have the means to start a fire with you.
Yeah, to
But I
like
don't know. I mean,
survive a night
yeah,
if needed. Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Um.
is my take at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you both have a bit of few percent in survival. So.
Yeah. Um. Oh boy. Well, I've got what became of my walking stick when I fell through here.
Oh, it fell with you.
Is it okay? It's not snapped in half or anything, just my leg.
Right.
Okay. At least I've got that. And there's no
You could hop around.
there's no obvious like there's no way out of here besides the way I fell in and a mystery door.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna. So are you kind of getting up and looking around?
I
and then
think
getting
I
your
think I
bearings?
gotta look around and see where I'm at and what might be useful for surviving in a while.
Okay. Cool. So you are in. Um. You're in kind of a what we would recognize as like a clinical or scientific space.
Mm,
Uh, um, everything is this kind of uniform metal structure, material. And you're looking around. Um, let's go ahead and roll. Let's find out if there's any treasure down here.
oh.
Oh my God, rolling on the treasure tables.
That's right.
This is I thought we would not do this. That's amazing. That's so funny.
Well, it's all connected to the training. So basically, depending on how the depending on how the roll goes, you might find, cool objects. Or if you just find quote unquote money, then when you go back and like tell the story, it's going to increase your social
Oh,
standing, and then you can spend that on training. Uh,
okay. I like this. I like this.
And I think we're just going to keep calling the currency L's.
Yeah.
And it's totally meaningless. Just kind of a measure of
Yeah.
social.
Great.
Okay. Ooh.
I like the sound of it.
Yes. Okay, so this story is going to be worth 7 L's.
7. Okay.
Not too. Okay.
It brings me to a nice round 80 L's.
That's right. But we're also going to roll on the gem/jewelry table.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, sweet. I'm gonna need. Do you have your phone on you, Avid?
Yeah.
Could you multiply the following number by 12? 7 times 12. 94.
Really my phone if I wasn't holding a phone. 7 times 12?
94?
84?
84. 84. 84.
Okay. So, yeah, you find some I mean, yeah, let's just go ahead and put it on a skeleton. There's a skeleton in the corner, and it's wearing these kind of cool like earrings that are silver, uh, uh, haven't tarnished with the years. They're still very shiny, and worth that amount of bells.
Nice.
And given their source and provenance, go ahead and add one to your charisma if you're wearing.
Ooh,
Uh,
are my ears
because no one
pierced?
else has them. Sure, if you want.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do. Pop them in. My leg may be broken, but I'm charismatic now.
sweet.
I don't mind that they came off of corpse.
Right?
I mean, the ears, I imagine, have decomposed and they were nearby.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to like take it out of the dead lobe.
Okay.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay.
Each. Well, I got my earrings on. Uh, I gotta check out the door.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah, I gotta check out the door. Um, I mean, what happens if I try and turn the wheel of my...
Yeah. Go ahead and listen.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
Did you
sorry.
snag the... Yeah, we can
Still on
share.
percentile dice.
Share. Listen. Where's anything? 25. 75. No.
Cool. Yeah. So the door is. I mean, everything in here is. All of the technology has worn very well. So
Hmm.
it might be a bit of an effort to get it moving, especially with the leg. But you can. I think you probably have to put your staff down and kind of put your body weight into it, but it'll start turning. And Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, and just one other thing, I'm gonna try to keep the runes in mind as well. So on the walls of this place, there's some writing. They're in the kind of cultural imprint. You see a pretty prominent symbol that you haven't seen before, and that it looks like this.
Ah,
Okay,
I
cool.
should remember what that one is, but it's good that I
Yes. Okay, so you're opening the door. So you get the door open. It falls inward, and a ball of flesh with legs kind of topple. It has been scratching on the other side of that
don't.
door, and
Oh
it
my god.
topples out. And let's go ahead and make a strength versus strength resistance roll to see if it knocks you prone.
Oh, shit.
So what's your strength?
Oh my god.
It's 12, so
Okay.
times 5, right?
Uh,
Or no, the
we're
resistance.
comparing it to mine. Yeah. Okay, it rolled a 3, so it knocks you down. And I mean, this thing is pretty terrible. So it has 6 legs. It's all this kind of uniform gray, bald flesh. It doesn't have any eyes that you can see, and it has a big mouth with sharp
Oh,
and flat teeth. This kind
and
of
flat.
mishmash of teeth. And it's now standing over you, and it's kind of got you indoors because you've been knocked prone. So
This has been a short, fun role playing for Runequest. All right, what do we got here? Uh, can I try and talk to it? Is Earth Tongue gonna do me any good?
you could try it. Yeah.
I'll try anything. I'm horrified. Um, the good news is I have 5% in Earth Tongue, so this is almost certainly gonna work.
That's right. You just need to roll one to five.
Talk to the beast.
I really want you to
90.
make this work.
No. Okay.
Um. Okay. So, you managed to just kind of battle. Um. go ahead and roll listen again.
Okay.
Listen is all over the place here.
36. No.
Okay. So it's hissing, kind of spitting, it's this really horrible thing. And it kind of jumps off of you backwards toward the door and then like skitters off through it into the hallway beyond.
Okay.
And you can kind of hear it in there. Once you while you were leaned up against the door, you might have heard like, and you can continue to hear that sound.
Okay. I think I'm like crawling over the door and I'm pulling that shit shut again. I I want it to stay in there.
Yeah.
That's a scary, scary thing.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Um. What's your strike?
How do I determine
Oh, I don't. We might not have calculated.
space strike rank? Oh, size plus dex?
Uh, yes. We'll average them and then figure out.
Size is 7, dex is 10.
Okay. Sorry. One moment. Oh, this might be the combat check. Okay, here we go. So what's your size
7,
and what is your dex?
10.
Okay, so your base strike rank is going to be 5.
Okay.
And then this thing's. Okay, so um it has a bit of a lead on you. It has so you're 5, it's 4, right? So you manage to kind of slam the door, but you haven't been able to turn it. And we're gonna do another strength versus strength to see if it can break back
Okay.
in. And can you remind me again? Yeah, since it's the
12.
active one, that's right. Ah, okay. So you manage to slam the door and hold it shut long enough. Yeah, long enough to lock it out.
All right. Well, I'm done screaming. I'm just panting now. And I think it's time to, I guess, prep for an overnight stay in this
Right.
scary place. But at least there's a door between me and the beast. Um, yeah, I don't know. Survival shit. Do I need to roll to prep for the night, or is this the basics?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with the broken leg,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 15 in survival. 60.
Okay.
16.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So you're not able to start a fire. Probably the best you can do is, pull some leaves around yourself. Huddle up in the cloak. Um, you're also not able to do much about the leg either.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that might. Yeah, let's cut there. And
At least I've got sweet earrings, though.
that's right.
Oh, rough time.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
It'll be worth some L's if you make it back.
Fingers crossed.
Right. Okay, so Eusebius, are you gonna uh so you've said that you're gonna try to um keep your mother alive.
Hmm.
Are you gonna do and she'll sit and talk with you, catch up. The hours, can pass pretty quickly. Is there anything else you wanted to do before turning around and heading home?
Well, I think that Eusebius probably wanted to talk to her about learning how to actually bind spirits, but that's not on his mind anymore. Um, I think he wants to get her to kind of stay put or stay around here. It seems like she doesn't really have a choice,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he tells her I think he says he's not just going to go off and do something crazy without saying it to her. So I think he says, um, "Can um, maybe I could get my father to let you stay with us or find somewhere for you to stay, just so you have like a place to sleep."
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and make a roll on speak own language,
Okay. Yeah, let's see.
which I think is going to be our base for communicating and social skills.
Okay, so what do I have in that? I don't think I see.
Oh yeah, one moment. There should be. I think you have a pretty high base chance.
Oh, that's
One.
interesting. Speak own language. Okay. Speak. I see read and write own language. I don't see speak own language though. I
Okay,
see
so
speak
let's
other
let's
language.
go ahead and do 60%.
Okay. So
And actually, go ahead and add your knowledge modifier to that.
my knowledge modifier. Um, knowledge. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. 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 So I have 55% then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So let me make my roll. Okay. I succeeded with a 36.
Ooh, nice. Okay. So the risk was that she was going to misinterpret you, right, as kind of uh, telling about her position to the entire hierarchy,
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
not Eustorgios as just an individual. And so you can tell she's definitely not happy about it. Um, but she says, in from what I remember, Eustorgios is a good man, and if you think he can be trusted, then I trust you to make that decision.
Yeah, so I'm not that intelligent, right? Like I have a 7 in intelligence. Can I make some kind of like I want to know if Eusebius knows if he can trust his father in this. Is there some kind of role I can make?
Um,
Or is it just or like what?
right.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about
Yeah.
my character's father.
Uh, oh, and don't forget to give yourself a check and speak own language.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll in intelligence times 5.
Right. Okay. Cool. So
And if
7
you
times
fail,
5.
I'm just gonna tell you what you know,
Right.
what you
Okay.
roll.
7 times 5 is a 35. I know that. So, oh, my die fell. I have a 30. Oh my god, a 38.
Okay.
Whatever. Alright. Oh, fuck. Okay. I want the. Oh, okay. I'm nervous.
So I mean, what you know is that Eustorgios is a pretty generous and kind-hearted guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And this is like. Okay, you know what? Just go ahead. Yeah. This is
yeah,
what. Yeah.
but you don't know. You haven't seen him right in a situation is uh that is outside the bounds of the walls basically. So you don't know.
Yeah.
But you
Okay,
do know
yeah.
he's not gonna like grab a spear and go out and murder right away.
Right. Yeah. So I think Eusebius is like, I really don't. I don't know how he will react. But I think maybe, you know, maybe I just don't know what else to do. Um, I think it's worth just trying. It's worth trying. I don't think he would do anything violent or anything bad. I mean, he can always just say no. It's not like you're coming with me right away. I'll just go. I'll ask. I'll make it as discreet as I can. I'll be careful.
Yeah, she's fine with that. It's better than dying out here. Which is kind of
Yeah.
what she's looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think, I mean, even though she's in a tough position, I think Eusebius thinks that she can take care of herself.
Hmm.
It's not like she's just gonna fall over and die tonight.
No. Yeah.
Um.
And she has some
So
supplies with her.
right.
One of her sisters gave her, um, some food before they left. Yeah. So she's not in like dire straits yet.
Right.
Compared to.
Okay. So then I think Eusebius is pretty antsy to get back, and he doesn't care about meeting up with his friends. So he's just gonna go back.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking, but no, he doesn't know. There's no going back to that spot. He's going to take the most direct route to where his father is.
More simple diet is going to be very confused.
Yeah, but Eusebius does not care about that.
Sorry, I'm thinking. Okay. So yeah, you make it home without incident. Walk up through the terrace fields to the town, and yeah, I mean, if Avid doesn't have any objections, do you mind if we just roll into this next scene?
Right.
Okay.
Look, I've been blurred in the background right on top.
Oh yeah, it is blurred. You're now vanished.
So so the lower wall isn't really guarded. None of the walls are really guarded necessarily. There are like professional soldiers, so you just kind of walk in. But you'll be noticed, there are people working in the fields, uh, and probably mainly builders who are repairing the walls because there's not a lot of it's winter, so there's not a lot of harvesting going on.
Oh, and Eusebius is can I make a roll to see if he's smart enough to put away his charm and his spear? Like he's in a rush, he might forget and be walking around with a shamanic charm. Is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
I just want to see.
So I
Okay.
mean, yeah, that'd be.
He, He is smart enough, right? Because that would be intelligence times 5, right?
Yeah.
I just assumed.
Yep.
He is smart enough. So when he comes into the village, he stows his. I don't know. There's somewhere he puts his spear. That it's not like he's not walking around the village with a fucking spear. He puts it somewhere, and then or I mean, I guess actually he could do that. It's a hunting spear. Like he would, yeah. The charm's somewhere hidden on him, and he's walking in with his spear. Just as a note, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I just realized these tunics have like big pockets, right? So you can
Right.
you can hold
Yeah, they
on to
gotta.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you make it. The village, on the map, all the houses look round, but
Mm-hmm.
in reality, they are all very square. They're very low
Okay.
houses. They're all made of stone, and they're thatched, and they're so low because they actually go into the ground a little bit. So the
Right.
buildings into the mountain and then build up from there. Um, which helps with insulation and stuff, and also Annex is an earth cult, so they like the earth.
It's also exactly what I pictured, so I like that.
Nice. And yeah, you head toward your house. This is all the houses are fairly similar in size, depending on the size of the family unit. Um, with your family, I think it's just the two, your two dads, Eusebius and his husband, and then the two of you. So just an average kind of big one room house here. Um, and the only thing that's notable is that the stonework on this is like particularly nice because this is
Mm-hmm.
Eusebius' specialty. So he's done like some carvings and stuff. So there will be runes and maybe some illustrations on the stone as well. It's very well made. Um, and yeah, I mean, you might actually have to wait for him to come back because
Yeah.
he's out on the walls, with the other builders repairing
Right.
things. Um, but yeah, he'll make it home eventually. And yeah, I mean, he comes in, he greets you, and sets about making dinner. Uh,
Yeah. So I think I think yeah. I mean, Eusebius goes into as much detail as he can about what's happened, and and says, can we, what can we do? Can we house her? Can we feed her? Like, how can we help her not die? Can if she shaved her head and stayed with us, could she stay with us? So this is kind of what he's saying, and he pulls out the charm, the focus, not the charm, the focus, and he's like, she's been teaching me uh, secrets that we don't know here. She has power, and we can't just let her die. How could it doesn't make any sense that she would just die with all that knowledge.
okay, let's let's go ahead and roll speak own language again. So I think the misunderstanding here that could happen is that he hears you as saying that she's basically agreed to become anthropoi, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got a 33.
Ah, nice. Okay. So good news. That isn't. He knows that that's not set. He won't make decisions based on that. Oh man. So I think
And just
yeah.
just for some more context, sorry to interrupt, but
He's got
Eusebius isn't like
so much to think about here. So
right. Eusebius isn't like spluttering or screaming. He's very frantic, but he isn't like he knows he should be kind of quiet about this, and so I think he's started this in on this when his dad is already like starting to cook. So there's some like so his dad is kind of trapped, maybe I don't know, preparing something in some way while he's saying this to him, and maybe Eusebius is also preparing something. So it's almost like it could look like a not even like trying to be like secretive, just like I don't know. I think Eusebius is kind of freaking out, so he wants it to be part of this like ritual as well. So
Well,
yeah.
he leaves. So with this successful communication, he leaves off cooking, and he
Right,
draws you over into the corner away from the door. He
right,
says,
right.
"Keep it, keep quiet.
Yeah,
Don't let your father hear. Um, I've got a name. I'll name this guy sometime. But he's not
yeah.
here. And I think at first he's kind of angry. He says,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where you've been going, every winter, when
Mm-hmm.
she was here, and that that's what you've been doing out there. Um, and I wish you would, I wish you had told me. This, puts us in, you know, first off, don't mention this to anyone. All right. Uh, it's the hunt. It's the season of the hunt. People are jumpy and scared already. Uh, and if they find out about her, I don't, I can't control what the other men will do.
Yeah, and Eusebius is like, yeah, I'm not stupid. Like you both are the ones that are stupid. I'm trying to fix this something that you both caused.
um, let's go ahead and make a charisma versus charisma roll here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just quickly roll 3d6 to find out Eustorgius's charisma.
Low roll, please. I have a healthy 16, so.
Nice,
I bet you wish you had some earrings, though.
right?
Yeah, I do. I would love. Yeah, maybe I'll take them off your bloody corpse
Jesus.
when we find you later, eaten or starved.
Didn't even check the roster. We always meet.
Yeah.
And also, Uncle has not asked where am I. I'm a little.
It's still early.
I'm still.
Yeah, it is. It is still
I'm still
early.
mad.
Yeah.
But this is probably going to move the timetable up on them realizing your loss.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 4 points on him, so you just need to roll under a 70.
Okay, I like that. And I roll a delicious 64. A very edible 64.
Yeah, so that brings them up short, and
Wow, petulance is working. Okay.
well, I mean, you're right,
Mhm.
you're not. It's silly to blame you for the situation.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And I think he instantly realizes that, right, and says, "All right, I'm sorry. I spoke inaccurately. This is not your responsibility." And I think he says, "I'm actually proud of you for, I know it can't have been easy to come to me with this, and I'm proud of you for like taking responsibility, uh, and um, and trusting me."
Mm.
Uh, and the trusting him, that's pretty intimate, right? That's like an inner family circle thing for these people.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he's kind of showing you some vulnerability here. um and he says, okay, from what you've said, she's not gonna serve tonight. Give me some time to think about what we can do, but we'll do everything we can to help her. um don't worry, we'll see her through this. uh
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, if you don't have anything else you want to do, we'll just continue on with the evening.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
I feel like I may have missed like a revelation when I went to the bathroom. What's the particular situation that's led to this request to like invite her back to the house? Was that just your character's idea, or did she disclose something else when I stepped away?
Just that she's kind of in desperate straits and
Okay.
needs, yeah, probably can't make it through the winter on her own
Okay,
afterwards.
thanks.
Yeah. Um, okay, let's go back to the to the lab real quick. Um, because you're here for a while.
Yeah. I imagine like as we, if I can
Yeah,
retroactively a little bit, like I'm probably like kind of weepy, understanding that I'm gonna be like cold
right.
here by myself overnight. But I took out like I'm drawing this place as well as I can. Like I'm like if
Oh,
I'm gonna
cool.
die here, there's gonna be like this map, this record of this place, including my vague
Yeah,
memory of what's behind that door.
nice.
Yeah, so that's how I'm keeping occupied as I sob into the leaves.
Okay, let's roll map making again.
Okay.
Okay. We gotta see success here.
No, not this time.
So understand, it works for self-soothing, but when
Well,
you
no.
look back on it, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you're not capturing a lot of information
in
here.
a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Um, at some point, at some point in the night, the intercom clicks on, and that thing keeps on like hissing and spitting through it. So you might startle awake to this thing, and go ahead and make a listen roll again.
I'm gonna hit one of these.
I know.
Gonna change
I just figure
everything.
you've got 8 hours.
30, we're getting close, but no.
Oh,
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're just kept up by like this kind of monstrous, susurrus, as it's whispering,
This is miserable.
nightmare things to you. It really is.
I want to draw the landscape and find shiny things. I did find shiny things. So, uh, I don't know. I'm being a little passive here, but I think I just gotta wait. There's not much I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, makes sense. So I mean, back, a couple hours later, by the time night falls, Eusebius checks in with you. You've probably eaten by now, and says, where's your brother? Didn't he come back with you?
Eusebius says, and I'm picturing that Eusebius is doing something preparatory. Like, I don't know. I don't know what he would be doing, but like trying to collect food or trying to collect firewood, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or something, but do it kind of discreetly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe trying to collect firewood. And so I picture they're outside talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eusebius says, oh, oh, no, I came back alone. I didn't wait for anyone else. I thought that this had to be. Well, I just forgot. I mean,
Could you, could you just run across the village and see if he's with Diocles? Go check in on that house and see if he's there.
yeah. So I think, yeah, Eusebius is not worried yet.
Yeah.
He's like wandering over there. Or
And,
not wandering, because actually he wants to get back to his firewood stuff, so he is actually running over there, but not because he's worried. He just wants to get back to preparing and being useful.
Right. And when you get there, Diocles' father says, I thought he and Diocles were with you. Have you not seen Diocles since you came back from the woods?
Eusebius says, well, Eusebius is getting a little worried because if they go out in the woods, I mean, they could find his mom. So Eusebius says, oh, yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure. I think they're probably just out. I was just wondering if they were here. I think they might have gone somewhere else together or something. Never mind. Sorry, I'm just confused.
This is probably the intelligence.
Yeah. I think Eusebius is like, fuck, I don't.
Okay, so what's your int?
It's a 7. I think he's probably
if,
not smart enough to even figure out that he probably wouldn't find his mom randomly either, looking for these people.
right. So yeah, you need to roll a 25 or lower.
Okay. All right, I roll a 43.
Okay. So Diocles' dad. Let's give him a name.
Dadicles.
Dadocles. It's just horrible.
I know.
It's so hard. Dadicles. Fucking awful.
I'm so sorry.
No apology.
Yeah.
Makeup.
I actually thought the same exact thing. The difference between us is you said it and I didn't, but only difference. That's the only difference.
Let's call him Androcles. Give him some nice.
Okay.
Some nice verbal symmetry with his son. So Androcles is one of the workers. He's also a waller, so he works with Eustorgios under his direction. So I think he instantly kind of picks up something's off, and he's going to go straight to Eustorgios and find out what's happening, kind of straight from the source.
Yeah.
And so they're both in conclave in the house. Eustorgios is very worried now. Tensions are high because the hunt is in the area, right? So children go missing this time of year.
Yeah.
And so everyone's on high alert, and Androcles is advocating, we get a group together. We've got to go out into the woods and find them.
Yeah. So I think hearing this, Eustorgios is he knows that that's what's going to happen. I mean, I think he thinks that's what's going to happen. He's heading off to make sure his mom is safe. He's going to go off and try to tell her that this is going to happen and to tell her to hide. Because I think he's scared. Or do you think he'd be scared about them finding her? Like, it's actually probably a good question to ask.
Well, I mean, they'll probably ask you, which which general direction,
right?
They went, where Diocles' fishing hole is, and you kind of know the spot where, because probably part of this, right, is telling each other where you're going, at least in general terms, for safety. So you do know that they're kind of in opposite directions.
Right. Okay. So I think.
I mean, if they mount, there's still that risk, right? If they mount like a
Yeah.
search, but it's not like going to Ajax. They're gonna stumble across your mom right away.
Okay, so I think Eustorios is terrified and sweating and extremely anxious, just picturing his mom being found. But I think that he can't do anything. Like he can't stop these people
Yeah.
from looking. So I think he's gonna volunteer very excitedly to go on, like very forwardly to like go and look with them.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he can maybe do
So you
something
can
if
find his
they.
cousin just so you can keep your mom safe.
Yeah, I think I think he's not that worried about the two of them.
Yeah,
Like I don't think he's the stakes for him aren't that high if they go off and like go with this other like I mean
yeah,
they are high, but they aren't as high as like them finding and killing his mom.
yeah.
So I think he is scared for them, but I'm just trying to get into a 16-year-old mind, like how anxious you get when you're 16 and you just do not like you just don't have an understanding of
Yeah.
yeah, like logically it doesn't yeah. So that's where I'm coming from.
I hear you.
So
Not
yeah,
critiquing your play, just role playing my bitterness if I were to know.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, so that's what's kind of going on. Yeah.
Okay. So Eustorios is gonna go and get the other builders. They're gonna get a bunch of torches, and maybe some spirit magic, and they're also gonna go and try to convince one of like the big uh, figures in town to help as well. So one sec, I'm just gonna roll charisma for him.
Yeah, I'm getting the idea that Eusebius is not is likes living where he does, but isn't as concerned about it being rigid and everyone staying here as maybe these adults are that have kind of
Yeah.
become full members of the yeah. So yeah,
Um, yeah. So while they're gathering this search party, your dad comes back. He looks angry. He went to Hesperos, who's like the closest thing to a professional warrior in town. He's basically a rune priest or a rune lord. And he refused. He just grumbles, right? That he basically said, they went, they made their choice. They went beyond the wall. They're probably just getting a good scare out there, and maybe it'll do them good. So the search party that's going out is not maybe as formidable as it could be.
yeah. I think Eusebius. I mean, he is a high charisma, so I imagine that would suggest that he's well liked amongst like people his age.
Yeah,
So I think he's actually making an effort to find people he's friends with to bring along who
yeah,
can help search. Like, yeah, I think, yeah.
and a lot
So,
of these are probably kids who the kids of the men who are going out with
right.
Stormers too. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think you get maybe like 12 or 15 people together. Um, and it's going to be very it's going to they're going out now because there are two kids missing, suggests danger. um they don't want to give up on the help of the kids, but you're exhorted to stay very close. In fact, Eustorius might tell all of the people who aren't of age yet that they need to stay within sight of him and not
Yeah.
go further. And you're all going to go out with these torches and kind of beat the bush and try to find these missing kids. Um, so
Yeah. Okay. And
and
I'm picturing Eusebius has got to have a best friend, right? Like, he's probably got someone who's very close to.
I mean, it could be Ajax too. Like you're both family. You're same age.
Yeah, we are both family, so I think there's probably someone who's outside of my family that I have chosen to become close to, and
Mm-hmm.
who I tell everything in that kind of way.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to invent that person, but it might be helpful actually. Because I'm picturing that Eusebius is like, yeah, maybe I don't know. I think I'm picturing him telling this person what's going on, like with his mom and stuff. Um,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, or maybe not yet. Yeah, I have to think. Yeah.
Let's call him Huron, Heron,
Okay.
and he'll come out with you. And let me think about where Huron sits in the hierarchies here.
Okay. Cool.
But we'll leave him as kind of a sketch in character for the moment.
Yeah. Great.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think a role is required here. So around like 4 or 5 a.m., you've been spending this miserable night,
Kissing.
uh, and just listening to this. And at a certain point, the intercom clicks off. That it's an hour of this horrible sibilance, um, and yeah, I mean, you see torchlight kind of fall on you, and you look up, and up there in the dark, there's a head and shoulders, and a torch looking down. Um, and yeah, I mean it's Eustorgius, and he's looking down. Then he says, he says, Eusebius, is that you?
Oh, that's you said.
Oh, right, Ajax, is that you? And who's
Um,
on first?
like, yes, Uncle. Thank God you found me. Thank whatever's Ajax. You found me. Um, please, like I hurt my leg. Like you can't just lower a rope. Like I need help. There's something down here with me.
What do you
I
mean?
think
There's something down there?
There's this beast. I described the beast. It's got more legs than I could count. Horrible gnashing teeth, and it's drooling and hissing. I managed to, sequester it off behind this strange door, but every so often I can hear it. Please get me out of here.
and I think just you said I think Eusebius and Heron are like also because I imagine that they probably were told to stick close
Yeah.
to Eustory. Yeah, so they're also like looking down in the hole, and I think Eusebius is trying to figure out a way to yeah, I think Eusebius is calling down like just wait a minute, we'll figure out how to get you out or something like that.
Yeah.
I bet we don't have rope on us. Like would why would we have rope?
Yeah. It's
So
ironic that these people, they know how to maneuver stones around pretty well. But they
Yeah.
probably didn't bring all of that. So,
right, exactly, yeah.
I got one leg.
um, so okay, hang on. I'm trying to think here. If there's anything else.
Can I say if it's you all and not Diocles that Ajax is worried about Diocles? Like,
Oh wow, yeah,
where's Diocles? Like, is Diocles with you? Like,
yeah.
what took you all so long? Like, I didn't go to the rock. I'm a little pissed. Like, what the hell's going?
And sorry, Eustorgius would have said, at some point he's going to say, yeah, Diocles is down there with you too.
No,
Oh
it's only
Jesus.
me. He's
Uh,
not with you.
no. Listen. One thing at a time. He says, Eusebius, Eusebius, Heron, and two other kids. He's like, go back. in the house, where the ropes and that equipment is kept. So bring it here. We're gonna get your cousin out of there. And I think he might be a little. I mean, you're clearly in pain. You're injured, and I think he's a little frantic to like get down to you, right? So
Yeah. So
he
we're
says, don't. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here, with you. We're getting you out of there as fast as we can. Um,
yeah, so we're running off to get the rope and yeah, so we can get you out of there or get yeah.
yeah,
Actually, how the hell can we get you? Like, literally, how could we get you out of there? I do not know how that would be possible. Like, what are we gonna do with the rope? Like, I guess we could tie you in the
probably
rope and
someone's gonna have to go down
right,
with some of the leather pieces that they used to use to move the bigger blocks, and then
right.
tie Ajax into it, and then get them up, hoist them up, and then send the rope down for that person. Uh,
Yeah. So I think at this point, it's like yeah, Eustorgios is totally frantic, and it's totally he's not worried about his mom being found anymore, and it's really setting in on him how serious this is. And he's really worried about Diocles. So I think he's he's I think they're running, so they're not really talking much. Or else I would say what he was saying to Heron. But yeah,
and yeah, I mean it's Eustorgius and another builder are gonna stay here, and then the four kids who went for the rope. You're planning to get Ajax out, and then the others in the party, including Androcles, are gonna go off and try to look for Diocles, and
right.
they'll get as good of directions as they can get, from you as to where he might have gone. Um,
Yeah,
so they're gonna go off. And yeah, I mean, Eustorgios, gets you out. He's the one who goes down, straps you in, gets you up. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think he just wants to get you home, to get both of you home. So he says to the kids who are with you, look, we all should be back, in safety. Let's go back. And he's gonna carry you himself back to the house.
Um, Ajax is advocating to keep looking for Diocles while being carried out. I can't rebel too hard, but really arguing like, no, we can't go back without Diocles.
and I think Eusebius is arguing the same because he's scared that if they look enough, they'll happen upon his mom, and he wants to be able to be yelling and screaming and making sure it's really obvious. Like he just wants to know exactly what's going on because he's terrified. Like all this shit is running through his brain. So I think he's actually backing up Ajax
Yeah, I
on
mean, so I
this.
think Eustorgios will carry you home, and then he'll say, the rest of you stay with my right hand man. Stay in sight of him, but you can go and join the other searchers, um, and so you see if you can find your friend. Um, so I mean, he's gonna. I think we'll stay with Ajax, and Eustorgios. Once he is out of sight of the other people, he's gonna weep openly.
Um, can I say
Yeah,
before I've been
yeah,
carried
yeah,
away because I'm sad that I can't participate in the search for Diocles. I've given the map I was working on, not the like dungeon map, like the one I was working
yeah.
on during the day before things went bad. I've given that off to I always forget your name, Eusebius.
Oh,
But
nice,
like you might not know how to read this, but like this is around where I last saw Diocles. It's like here.
nice.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
just I want to be involved. Okay, and now my uncle is weeping.
Cool. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, and I mean, he like squeezes you, and then doesn't. He's like, "All right, your leg's broken." But, he says,
Wait.
I'm so glad you're all right. I thought I thought I'd lost you.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously emotional too, but I'm a little bit like infatuated with that shiny laboratory I was in. I'm like, I've never seen anything like that place. I'm like, I've got the drawing out. Like,
Yeah,
we need
eating
to,
earrings. Yeah,
yeah, like, we need to go back there. We need to, like, bring Nikon, like, to see this place.
yeah.
Once we're sure Diocles is safe, like, I really think we need to go figure out what's going on there.
Go ahead and make a map making to
Oh,
see if we can. This is kind of an otherworld, thing, so you might not be
yeah.
able to find it again.
Yeah. Nope. 66.
Okay.
59, actually. Nice.
Um. So yeah, you're in your pain and all. You're probably not going to be able to remember exactly how to get there.
Mm,
Uh.
oh,
And he,
excellent. Nice.
he says, yes, like he's he says I'm so proud of you for Nikon has spoken so highly of you. You're obviously so talented. Um, I had even I'd hoped that you might enter the Wallers Guild and maybe take over from me one day. But Nikon has been saying that you have the makings of a priest of the labyrinth. Um, so he's going to shoot. All of this stuff would be very careful and timed normally, but he's kind of letting it spill out. And he's kind of saying like I'm so proud. You work with him more closely than Eusebius does, and so he really you're to him you are his son. Yeah,
Oh, I think I'm a little, like, embarrassed by the flattery.
and this is so
Going,
unusual too. Yeah,
yeah. And, like, I don't know. I just put myself down a little bit. Like, well, if I was such a great map maker, both my legs would work. I could walk myself home along the paths I've drawn. I'm just feeling a little like a fraud, even though he's being so kind to me.
yeah. Uh, he says, don't worry. I'm sure Nikon will have you, fixed up in no time. Like, let's just get you home. Let's just get you. Um,
He's lovely.
yeah, I really like you, Gibbs. um, yeah. So, I think, by this time, Nikon has probably been awoken, uh, by the, has probably been awoken, by the hubbub of people leaving and the torchlight and everything. So he's awake. The temple is at the highest point of the village in this kind of particularly protected space. So there's like a little temple complex, um, which yeah, is like really, if Eustorgios's house is one of the nicest in the village in terms of craftsmanship, the temple is like on a whole other level. Um, and yeah, I mean, Nikon will come out and he will see your injuries, and he'll cast some healing magic and get. I don't think he'll heal the whole thing, but he'll like get the bones set. So you'll be limping. You'll maybe need the staff for a while, but yeah, he gets you set. And yeah, I mean, he wants to know all about this place you've been.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm showing him my sketch. Uh, that's not so good.
Yeah,
I'm in describing, yeah, the shine on everything and that bizarre door and the beast, the creature. Um, showing off my little earrings.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, the walls, shown just like this. Uh, and sorry, I think I'm listening.
Boris. Oh,
Bless you.
Thanks. Um, yeah, I do my best to describe it and like how I got there. I say like, from the rock where we meet, we went to Diocles' watering hole and then I went this way and this way and before I knew it, I'd fallen. I hope I can find it again. With your help.
Yeah. Um. Okay, I've got to think here. Okay, so when he sees, the rune, this unusual
Mm.
rune in the drawing, he grabs the paper from you and throws it into the nearest brazier and kind of
Oh
furiously
shit.
washes his hands.
I'm appalled. I'm like, teacher, we need that to
He
fight your way
says,
back.
that's blasphemy. That place, that sounds like a pit of chaos. That monster down there, it wants nothing but our blood. That I'm glad that you escaped there because what you encountered there was incredibly dangerous. And he says, you points to one of the kids, who gathered around, and he says, you go to Hesperos and bring him here. Um, and he says, I'm so glad that you were able to escape that place, and hopefully, your insight will let us find it again and destroy it.
Oh, destroy it. Cuts me deep. I go, oh, Nikon, when you see it, yeah, I hope you'll feel differently. There's something, as horrible a time as I had in that place, there's something special about it.
Oh man. Okay.
Shit.
Wow. This is kind of
I
yeah.
can't stop thinking about it. I'm just like fingering those earrings.
Mm-hmm. And this is good because there's also some you're acting toward it, and there's also some magical stuff
I bet there
heading in
is.
your direction too. I mean, I think Nikon strikes you across the face.
Jesus.
This is
Ooh.
chaos. They're not a super violent
Yeah.
culture as these things go, particularly toward children, right? But when you say like there's something special about this place, he he slaps you hard.
I'm gonna say I fall. I'm not on
I
my
mean, yeah, you're on
legs,
the
right? Yeah.
and he says, uh bite your tongue. Uh that and I mean Eustorgios is leaping forward and like getting between you two. And he says, Eustorgios, take him home and keep an eye on your child. Keep an eye out for blasphemy. Um and I think yeah, that might be the end of
Yeah.
I mean Eustorgios is gonna pick you up. You're not gonna be allowed to, interact publicly anymore. In
Mm,
this scene. You kind of said something that really kind of broke some taboos. Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. We do. You are gonna get some else though. So
oh, thank goodness.
because you face
Awesome.
down a dangerous monster and um
Nikon, a dangerous monster who hurt me worse than the beast.
right.
Yeah, the beast didn't really hurt you.
No, it scared me.
Yeah.
It was pretty scary.
It did kind of hurt me. Like it knocked me over and my leg was broken. Like that didn't feel good.
This means we get to roll on the treasure table. It is, yes,
Ah,
it is.
Yeah, I checked the
Yeah.
runes as well. Yeah, I
I
had
was
to I had
trying to
to, I
remember
had to
and I
check.
was like, they'd probably be pissed about it.
Because I specifically checked, is it chaos? No, it's not.
Okay, how much is I need to simplify this table because now I need to figure out how many L's a wheel is worth.
A wheel?
Oh, wheel, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, a wheel is 20 lunars.
Okay.
So you got oh shit. I'm just gonna reroll the amount of lunars you got. Okay, so this 138 L's.
This is in addition to the 7 and 84 from earlier. Did I
Yeah.
cash those in?
This
138, you think?
this is how much
Literally.
yeah,
Okay.
clout you're getting, for telling the story. And
Okay.
let's go ahead and roll for special items too. Um
Literally swimming in L's.
you can afford like another 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a shitty spell.
Okay, no special items, no more jewelry. um, and Sam, let's go ahead and roll for Eusebius too, because you've been out kind of involved peripherally in this, so some of this will lead to you at least getting some attention. Um,
hmm
okay, so 10 L's for being Ajax's brother.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're the brother of the guy who went to the Chaos Nest and came out.
See, it's bullshit because I succeeded at rolls to get where I'm at, and
I succeeded in
whatever.
my first map making before
That's
I
true.
got
Yeah,
the
that's true. Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's yeah, yeah. It's okay.
so the search party for actually Eusebius, do you have any tracking skills or anything like that?
I have moved silently. I added points to that. That's not really tracking at all, though.
Right.
That's really nothing to do with
Oh,
tracking.
check under perception.
Perception. No, I don't. I just have the base for everything in perception.
Go ahead and roll just to see. We'll
All right.
see if you pick up on anything.
Yeah. So I failed.
Okay. So, you spend the next, morning kind of beating the bush with the search party, and you don't find Diocles. He's just vanished. There's no sign of
And
him.
Eusebius is definitely the one not really looking the best, but yelling the loudest.
Yeah.
Because I think he's pretty well. He'd only be doing that if we were getting closer to where his mom is. But yeah, he's being pretty loud, I think,
Yeah.
and not looking too well. Yeah.
Um, okay, cool. So, you don't find him. You don't spread out enough to, your mom has if anyone gets close enough, she's dousing her fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
She's
She's not. She's not stupid.
um
I think that. Yeah. I think that you just to make it make sense. I don't. I think that I know as a player that there's no way she would be found, but I think Eusebius is just in the anxiety, paranoia, fever dream of a
oh yeah.
16-year-old who's having a way too much happen in a single day. Yeah.
So I'm gonna make. There's one other kind of active uncertainty in the situation here
Mhm.
that you're not privy to because you're out with the search party, and that you're not privy to because you've been sent kind of back home in disgrace. So okay, what am I doing? Shit. Okay, I've got some bad news. This might be. I think we might have to stop here. I also know it's late, but so Hesperos, who's like the head warrior, he takes off looking for this chaos nest. Uh, and he takes off on his very cool like kind of bound spirit familiar animal, which is like this flying winged bull. Um, that yeah, so he takes off into the sky, and you see Eusebius, you see him strafing the woods above.
Hmm.
And he's flying, he's circling. He does not find the chaos nest, which is what we're calling it, even though that's probably not very accurate. But he does find your mom, and so
Jesus.
when you return back, he's landing in the square in front of the temple, and kind of throwing her down on the ground,
Oh my God.
and standing over with this spear and saying, I think I've solved the mystery. I found the one who can tell us where the children are.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow.